My psycho friend shaved my head when I passed out because he wanted me to support his relative with cancer, so I called the police and pressed charges. My friend Luis had a temper, and even an entitled attitude at times. One example was a lunch where he wanted us all to combine the checks and split them evenly. He got the most expensive thing on the menu. I got a cheeseburger. When we all said no, Luis went off on us for not being good friends. Another example is when he tried to get a married neighbor woman who was older than him to have an affair, and then later egged her apartment door when she refused. He's always been an ass when he doesn't get his way. Despite all this drama, I've only known him for like 3 years, but the incident that I'm about to tell you was the last straw for not just me, but a lot of other mutual friends. A relative of Luis contracted cancer. I was sympathetic and even contributed $100 to a donation pool for his relative's treatment. But Luis came to me one day and took his hat off to reveal a freshly shaven head. He told me that everyone in his family was doing it in support of his relative, and so were a lot of our mutual friends. Then he asked that I get on the bandwagon. I told him I didn't want to shave my head because I'm a model and hair is very important to my work. My hair is black, regularly combed, and well styled. He said I could just get a wig or something and had brought his shaver kit. He was unboxing it when I told him this was not happening. I don't even really know his relative that he's doing this for, so I'm not doing it. End of discussion. He called me an asshole and left angry. We didn't speak for a week. Then last Saturday I got invited to a party at another close friend's house. There, I found out that Luis had tried the same thing on several other friends, and only a couple of them actually shaved their heads. Luis wasn't at the party, so I had a blast hanging out, playing video games and listening to rock music. But I had way too much to drink and couldn't drive home, so they said I could just sleep upstairs. I passed out on a bed until I was shaken awake by another friend who told me Luis had showed up late and they caught him shaving my head while I was passed out. I saw what I looked like in a mirror and wanted to scream. Luis even shaved off one of my eyebrows, and the way he shaved my hair was uneven. Luis was still there acting proud of himself, saying, "Now you're gonna have to shave off the rest, just like me. LOL. I was furious and called the cops. When they got there, Luis fully admitted to what he had done and even said he was justified. The police didn't agree as this is classified as a form of assault. They asked if I wanted to press charges, and I immediately said, "Hell yes!" Luis's expression was shocked and confused. He cussed me out while they took him away in cuffs. I tried getting my hair restyled into something presentable, but there was no saving it, and now I'm bald too. Now a bunch of Luis's family are telling me to drop the charges because Luis was off his meds and didn't mean to do it. I was like, WTF? Because I never knew he was on meds, but I still refused to drop the charges. It'll take months to grow my hair back the way it was. But all of the calls and messages from Luis's relatives are starting to get to me. Just about everyone else in our friend group has cut Luis out though, and say that I'm doing the right thing by not dropping the charges. So now I'm divided. Update. Luis's family harassed me and tried to make me drop the charges. I not only didn't drop them, but I also reported the harassment to the police. The problem is it didn't bloody stop. It got worse, mainly from Luis's mother, whom I can see where Luis got his charming personality from. She showed up at my apartment a couple of weeks after the shaving incident to scream at me that I knew nothing about what they were going through. And a little hair wasn't a big deal. I told her my hair was a big deal to me, and what Luis did was inexcusable. Well, that earned me a slap on the face, followed by a swift kick to the nuts, followed by a few more kicks to my body after I went down. It was all recorded by a camera that I had watching the front door. One of my neighbors saw her and screamed they'd be calling the police. Luis's mom ran, and I ended up going to the hospital with minor injuries, mostly just bruises, a black eye, and a sore groin. I filed. This woman had taken several self-defense classes over the years, so she knew how to fight. Despite her strength, she broke down when discussing the settlement. She cried again because she didn't want to pay anything to the man who'd ruined her and her son's lives. But she had the money for both court cases because she had no problem paying. But around that time, I heard Luis's relative with cancer passed away. I don't know any details, just that they passed on. I admit that was sad, but I never knew this person. But Luis made their condition his hill to die on when he tried to make an example out of me. Luis got some probation and community service for what he did to my hair, and he cut contact with our entire friend group and eventually moved away. Where to? I don't know. I don't care either. As for my hair, well, it grew back just fine. Took nearly half a year to get it back how it was. My boss had me put out of sight for a while, and I was wearing a hat everywhere for at least a month. I did take that $10,000 I got in the lawsuit and combined it with my savings for a down payment on a house. So I've since moved into a much better abode.